live. We are live. Yep, after 10 minutes, we're late. I am sorry. That is mostly my fault. We're late. Okay, so let's jump right in. Welcome everybody for session 47, and it's the last session of the year. So, whoop. Um, Jumping into the recap from last week, the heroes continued their journey through the maze, accosted by many hoplite skeletons around almost every corner. At seemingly random points, a deafening roar would shake the walls, rendering a few of the heroes at one point having constant ringing in their ears for about a minute. Um, they continued on. They located what looked to be the lair of Graxus with bones, chains, rusted, all that stuff. Just everywhere. It was not pleasant. The Minotaur, entering then through a room with a plaque that said "Room of Supplicants." There, they fought some more skeletons. Defeated them pretty easily, and then they finally made it through into the finally the tomb of Xandar itself, with a sarcophagus, a rug that had a depiction of a Xandar in one spell swoop taking off the head of a basilisk. There were it looked like it was heavily looted. There were broken pots. There were basilisk sculptures in the corners of the top corners of the room. There was an altar that had a scale, like an actual weighing system scale, to clarify that. That did have that did have a full set. It looked to be a full set of weights. After seeing an inscription on the ornate sarcophagus, not understanding it as it was in a different language and none of them knew what it was, Calder decided the group decided that they were going to cast comprehend languages on there. But at the first touch, the sarcophagus turned into a mimic and the rug came to life and started trying to smother Calder. Poor Calder. He got out pretty unharmed. It wasn't too bad. But the sarcophagus that was actually really a mimic, spewed out, almost like one-shotting a few of our wonderful, lovely players with poison breath. Thankfully, no one died yet. They escaped successfully and managed to defeat the monster and the enchanted furniture. The victory was cut short as there was a deafening roar, which thankfully almost everybody successfully made the Constitution saving throw, aside from one person who was deafened and was warned also by a cowardly running into the room Asimi, who had stepped out because the poison breath scared the shit out of him because it almost one-shot him. So he saw Graxus at the very end of the corridor that was making a bull run straight towards him. He managed to get out of the way. The bull hit the undead Minotaur bull, hit the wall, and was turning towards the party to start fighting. But in like a wonderful turn of events, the party totally dogpiled onto Graxus. The party, hey. Totally dogpiled onto Graxus, and while there was some successfully grappled, proned, like just he couldn't get up. No matter what, the rolls even were pretty decent, and he just could not get away from any of the grapples. You guys are just too godly right now. So at the end, they quickly put him out of his misery. And laid the undead, cursed Minotaur back to rest. Moving on, exploring the rest of the maze to find the real tomb, they came across another little nook, corridor / chamber that had a skeleton that was slumped over a chest. After the skeleton looked over then and started talking, saying his name was Jorge, and Mythos was like, nope, undead skeleton and it's talking has to go. But once he came close enough to the skeleton, the chest awoke and turned into a mimic and started to attack him. Anyway, long story short, they defeated the skeleton. They defeated the mimic to put the skeleton out of his misery, and it turned out to be seemingly a practical joke at the very end. Once the death of the mimic occurred, a familiar giggling indicating Kira had a little bit of a hand in this. Anyway, funny, no one got hurt. At the end, they found a leather scroll protector. Inside were 2 papyrus sheets. One with really bad handwriting that seemed to be from Jorge looking for some treasure to help his family, ? Not sure. And the other was a perfect map rendition of the maze, as well as a warning of the traps that were in the maze, and a one that was very important, of the one that was attached to and leading into the chamber where the final resting place of Xandar lay. It's warned that anything over 300 pounds would set off the trap. Not entirely sure what the trap is, though. Now the heroes find themselves outside of the supposed trap room and waiting to make a plan. So with that, I will go ahead and activate where you guys were previously. Make sure the scene is loaded and activate. All right, floor is yours.
Oh, hold on, it's loading. I need visual aid, because if I remember, it was gory as fuck in this room.
Oh,
You guys cannot see it. You guys have not opened the door.
Consent. This is gory as fuck. So who all is over 300 pounds?
I think it's just Mythos.
Can Mythos drop his
That's
shit?
probably about what he's at. I think he's 300 pounds.
Oh. I mean, check out.
That's like, how much does Shaquille O'Neal weigh?
Is that the
Enough.
character reference? Shaquille O'Neal. Ancient Greek Shaq.
He weighed like 400 pounds.
Achilles O'Nealius.
Yeah.
He weighs 100.
Shaquille O'Nealius. That's amazing.
Yeah. And you've got
it
fur and
is-
shit weighing you down.
He weighs about 320 pounds.
Whoa!
And that's
That's
a
now.
Big bitch!
He's a 447 kilograms.
So that's what he weighs now at his... When he was winning championships with the Lakers, he was like 400 pounds.
What the hell?
Was he really?
Muscle.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Muscle.
Believe it.
Yeah.
370.
Well, that was like, what, 2013?
Yeah. Anyways,
Sorry, yeah, this is now unrelated.
yeah, so we don't want to set off the trap. Does Mythos just have to fucking stay behind?
I will Misty Step.
It's not loading. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh, your axe might
Let's
let you do
pause.
weird shit. It's paused.
Guy is gonna
If
take
I
a
had
step
it, I
forward and
couldn't
open
do
the
it.
door.
So Mythos, how much stuff are you holding? It would,
Well, it doesn't matter because
would,
he's-
unloading his pack onto someone else, give him, knock him just under?
I thought this was a PG.
That's what he was saying.
Probably not.
He's Shaq weight.
Yeah. So he's...
All right,
I'll watch from here for a minute.
I'm just... What happens in case of emergency? Are we
So
just
I can-
Mythos-less?
I can try and jump.
Well,
What is that? It's a 30-foot
Well,
jump.
maybe we can go in and see if there's a way of dismantling
right,
the...
right. That's what I was thinking.
Alright, so I open the door. Can I make a perception check to see what I see?
Yeah, go for it. You do not have dark vision?
No dark vision.
That's okay.
You made a roll at disadvantage?
Well, is anyone going to bring a light?
Somebody has a light.
Yeah, sure. I can be holding a torch.
Okay.
And
Somebody's
jumping
had a
over.
light this whole time.
Yeah. Just
My
making sure.
long jump is 22 feet.
Ooh.
That's
Ain't gonna cut
almost the whole way. That's very close to it.
So Gaia, you look in, and the floor has old blood on it. There looks to be, but it's clear. Like there's just like smeared old blood. You look over into the corner. Into the far, or the nearest wall to you, which is just on your right, and there is just a slew of broken, some pulverized, some still kind of whole bones, just spewed across the entire length. There are coins, there are weapons, there are clothes that are shredded to bits. There are marks on the wall. It's terrible. It's whatever occurred here. It was disgusting. You got a 16, and there is some light that's reflecting off of the walls, and so you can see that the room is fairly large. And you can see on the far wall, what looks to be spikes coming out of the wall, and it's kind of terrifying. And there are remains, skeletal or others, remains on the wall itself. You see across from you, and a little to the south, a pair of double doors. It's about 30 feet away.
Okay. I would imagine that the rest of the crew can kind of like peek over my shoulder as I open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's gonna look back and just kind of like shrug and take a step in.
Nothing happens.
Anything? Okay. She's gonna take one of those like long, exaggerated, like cartoonish, like really far steps.
Gaia,
Yeah.
I just had the thought. Maybe you're the best at fixing people here. Maybe somebody else goes first in case somebody needs fixing.
A really long, exaggerated back step back out the door, like that, like rewind time, steps backwards. Like, okay, sure.
I could scout it out first.
Maybe Andromeda. She's the lightest of us.
Sure, I can go if you're too afraid to see me.
Cautious.
Gaia can fly, though.
Cowardly.
Can Gaia fly?
Not right now.
Jay's not a.
She's
not
the
a
she's the
fly.
presso.
Well, Mythos cracks his knuckles. Gaia can still fly.
Jesus.
You ever see a bird that just crashes into a window and is then just lying on the ground stunned?
Oh no, I have not, and I never want to see it. I save those birds when I see them on the side of the road.
She can fly today. It's so great. Love that.
I thought Mythos was about to like tell a joke and be like, "See, you're happy." Nope. Just throw.
That's funny.
So Andromeda, as you enter, because your perception is pretty high. It's like what, 16? Trying to remember.
I'm checking. Yeah, I've got a
Maybe at the
plus
bottom
5, so
you
it's
have that
15.
Token
15.
bar,
Okay.
right?
Huh? Oh yeah.
that-
I keep forgetting I have that. It kind of is funky right now. It's not really showing. It's like
Whack.
all collapsed and stuff.
Whack.
I can't see it. Well, whatever. So 15. So as you move forward, you look around and you look up and you see that there's a portcullis that is inside of the ceiling, that is right in front of the door. Inside of the door. So where you are, it's right there, right in front of the door. So it would block you away from the hallway. And so that's something you see, but as you step in, nothing happens. And as you look around, nothing moves. Everything's quiet. That's it. There's one little note that I forgot to give you, just aesthetic for Gaia as everybody looks around. The walls, all of the walls there's carved in the carved stone are depictions of screaming heads.
That's good.
Human heads? Or like
All types of
Thailand humanoid heads, or like animals as well?
mortal, anything mortal. So it's like everything. So it ranges from settlers to natives,
Okay.
but not animals like no deer or
Right,
geese.
so humanoid
Did-
races, playable races.
Did any of you ever get the have the thought that the Dragonlords were kind of fucked up? I'm beginning to think the Dragonlords might have been a little fucked up.
I don't know if I would say the. Well. Oh, I'm thinking of the 5. Yeah, maybe a little fucked up.
A little fucked up. It's a little bit fucked up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I guess I will just kind of carefully make my way across.
Making your way across.
Yeah,
Just making sure nothing leaps out at me or anything.
Yeah.
Do I see a matching portcullis on the other side?
Taking a look, and because you do have the light, and I'll just because your passive perception, you know what you're looking for. Yes. And as you make your way through, nothing happens.
Okay. She would share that information, of course, with everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it appears to be safe. If you are overly cautious, you can follow my footsteps, but I think so long as we do not set this pound limit off, we should be fine to cross safely. And I guess I will open this door.
And game pause. Get ready to die. I mean,
Is this quite
Fine.
literally just like basically a 2-person sized door or hallway?
Yes. So you see you open the door, one of the doors. Nothing happens. The portcullis doesn't come down. Trap doesn't seem to be set off, and you see right there, 5 feet ahead of you, another set of doors. When you open the door, it was very quiet. There is barely any sound, except for the movement against the rock. But this particular area, it almost chokes you with how much dust, and there was very little fresh oxygen in this area. So you assume that no one has opened these doors in 500 years or so.
Okay. She would call back, whoever is next. There's not a whole lot of room in here with me, but one more. Perhaps we may have to go into the next room after this as well.
I think Calder would take his pack off because he's like 170 pounds, but he's also walking around with 100 pounds worth of equipment. So
you could. Can you put your pack in Gaia's fanny pack we're holding?
You could. You could put your pack into my fanny.
oh,
No.
I like where this is going.
While you're going across, Calder, maybe look for any sort of pressure plates or the like. It's possible it's a simple trap that we might simply be able to avoid.
Yeah, once Calder has kind of shifted equipment so he's not as heavy and makes his way across, he'll just keep an eye out for any obvious trigger mechanisms or way to interact with the trap without sending it off.
Okay, wait, what are you doing? Are you investigating, or are you just going to the other side?
He's keeping an eye out for anything that looks like a point where you could interact with the trap as he moves, but he's not going to spend like 10 minutes patting down a wall looking for like an access point.
Gotcha. So are you just like in front of the trap or the spikes and just looking around? Just making sure how I'm visualizing what you're doing.
He might get a little closer than Andromache did, but he's not going to get within touch distance. He's just
okay
taking a look as he goes.
That would be a perception check.
Ooh, big money.
Yeah, 21. You take a look at the spiked wall, basically, and you can see that the spiked wall is wood. You can see that there are marks on them as people had tried to use a sword or something sharp. There's like even an axe embedded in, but that was partially broken. So there was some damage to the wall. It looks like it does take damage, but nothing enough to stop it, perhaps, obviously, since no one seemed to have gotten out of this room. But you do not see a like off button.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting to, but figured had to check anyways.
Worth a shot.
Yeah. Same with the wall. You do not see a mechanism on the wall either. At least not in this area.
Right. Yeah. Calder will make his way kind of into this double doorway with Andromache and just kind of call back. I didn't see anything that looked like we could turn it off from here.
Okay. Maybe we should check further in the room.
Check further in the room.
You two go. We'll three wait out here. Open the door. Be home by dark.
Jeez, I almost said the wrong character name. Andromache will look at oh my god, names are hard. Look at Calder. Say ready, and then like a motion to push open the doors together.
Yep.
All right, I need you guys to make strength checks.
Oh.
You're good at these. Ooh.
Mm-mm.
Ooh.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Both of you combined, these doors are they locked or are they very heavy? You're not entirely sure, but they do not budge.
Okay. So what was the weight limit we were told again?
300 pounds.
300 pounds.
If there might be a solution, but what's going on up there? Get the door open.
Out of game question. Gorby, does Andromache no longer have guidance? As a cantrip?
No, she does
Okay,
not.
alright, just checking. Alright, never mind.
Can I command the doors open?
Is there an actual lock on these doors, or are these wooden doors or stuff?
Yeah, hold on. Let's inspect these doors, I guess. Are they locked?
Make an investigation check.
That would be embarrassing, Calder.
We're all just so full of ourselves after Graxus last week. We're like invincible.
Yes, they are locked.
There we go.
Ah!
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
So-
Okay. Do we have a... they appear to be locked. Do we have a
Can we
key
get a key from somewhere?
of some sort?
Oh,
Kira? Is Kira still here?
Don't put that
Somewhere.
juju out here. Shut up! Shut up!
Juju!
She's very, very sneaky, sir.
I don't like it.
Have we
Criminals.
seen a key at all?
I do not have a key.
Is there like a spot for a key in these doors, or are they just like they chain shut on the other side?
Yeah.
I will continue what I was going to say. So it is very much locked to the point where there actually isn't a keyhole. It looks like something else is supposed to be inserted into this particular place. It's
Like an axe handle.
I'm don't know what an axe handle is, but I'll look it up.
Like the handle of
The handle of
Okay.
Like the Alexander, like the pummel into the door.
Yeah.
I was thinking of an actual, like, there's a door that's an axe handle. Is it, like, I don't know what that is. So it's not a keyhole. It is square, and it's perfectly square too. And you kind of, and it's on both of the it's on both, like where the handles would be, or a keyhole, but nothing is there. It's just empty squares.
What's going on? What do you see? What do your elfin eyes tell us?
We
Look,
will relay that information.
look with your special eyes.
Shit. Gaia,
do
we're
we
supposed to
have-
put the square in there. Get on over there then.
Hold on.
Do
I don't
player
think we have
play
anything.
player? We don't have
Yeah.
anything that fits this description, right?
I don't think
Well,
so.
sorry,
Think
what was the
so?
description? Say it again.
Like
It
a little
is a
like
square.
square
Square.
inserty
Like
thing.
it is something that fits into a thing that maybe is the key or like becomes the handle to the door.
Is there any
or something.
writing on the wall or anything like that? Anything that might then?
With
Mythos
a
might go
natural
through his
20,
pack a little
do we
bit.
know anything else about unlocking the door?
I see me is since now that you guys are having this match. Bless you. Now that you're
Thank
having a conversation match from each other, go ahead and do an intelligence check.
Intelligence check, okay. Not that great at this. Check.
Got my golden arrow, and that's
Oh fuck!
an old
Okay,
gold sword.
you're like square something Xander. Okay, you know there were those scales that were on in the false room that were square.
The weights or the
The what?
scale themselves?
The scale weights.
Wait, on the scale.
Skates on the whale.
No.
My favorite.
Someone ate the tail. What?
All right.
Love
Yeah, I was
how
gonna
the
say
whale's
too
good.
that like in the frustration of this, Asimi might like head over to like get a look at it. Like since
Okay.
we're just being told square and it's Asimi and Asimi's like, I mean, what do you mean?
Asimi
a
doesn't
square?
know his shapes.
Right. But he's like,
And
what do
he
you
thinks
mean a
it's a
square? What do you
triangle.
mean like he thinks that they're just being like obstinate, you know?
Okay.
So he's like, oh shit, it's just a square. Okay, wait a minute. That's about the right size for some of those the scales that were the weights that were on the scale in the tomb.
Wasn't there also a scroll right next to the weights?
There was again. I didn't want to touch too many things because you know the whole curse of the great. I don't want them to think we're robbing it. But I think if we, you know, if the intention is that this is not something that we are taking, I mean, the intention is the part of the curse, isn't it?
Well, you guys did
Do you
not. I
want
don't
to
think
take
you
that
guys.
risk?
We're not technically leaving the crypt with it, so I wouldn't really
Right,
consider
right.
it a
That's what
robbing.
Right.
Well, I have an uncanny sense of direction, so I can go back and get them.
I feel like there was some faceticism in that statement. Would I be incorrect in assuming that from Mythos? Or was that a genuine comment?
What's facetious mean?
You got some fish?
Facetious?
You've been holding out on us. If you've got fish, we'll eat it for dinner. But now's not the time. All right.
Yeah, Mythos can go back and get them.
Okay.
Asimi will go back too. Yeah, just since he's the one with the idea of like, he might not try to take all of them just to be safe.
Yeah. No, we'll take
okay.
all the weights and the scale.
Right.
And
Mythos. Asimi's gonna make sure Mythos takes it all though. But yeah, just
yeah,
kind of.
it's like
He doesn't
on a
want people to be able to-
tablecloth. Yeah. Mythos like gets there, just like scoops up the whole tablecloth, ties a knot, and just slings it over his shoulder.
Okay.
The entire time,
so-
Asimi's just like
The whole everything on the table.
I
Yeah.
mean, it seems
Okay, the whole everything-
reasonable.
All right. Then. Well, okay. Well, you did that. And I was gonna say with Asimi knowing, seeing the size, actually now seeing the size in the door, and then being like, oh, it's that one, and then you just see Mythos not take any chances, just roll it, and be like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna look at it for it later. But Mythos
I like-
cannot enter the room.
I like the idea too of it, like Asimi's like, you know, like gets there, he's like, all right, I think it's this one. I'm not sure. And then Mythos is like, shut, fuck it. Like, we don't have time for this kind of thing, which is
Yeah.
probably true.
We don't know what's inside that room. We might need these other things.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't want to make 2 trips.
Are you tiring, Mythos?
Me, I have an inexhaustible amount of energy.
All right. Noted.
Okay.
Simi will
Hold on, what
remember.
is-
Oh my god,
oh.
Shitty! You are like turning into your fireplace.
Oh. I was,
You leaned in too close to the sun.
it looked like this. It looked like a token with a name under it, but I zoomed in. It just said Gaia.
Not a real name.
No, it was
All right.
the cursor over by.
Oh.
All
All right, yeah. So
Anyway, sorry.
I guess the Simi will pass off, the proper things.
Okay.
Hopeful that this will open these doors.
So when you say you pass off, are you going in the room or are you just throwing shit and hoping someone catches it?
I
Like,
guess the Simi. I imagine Mythos would like lay out like the bundle of stuff on our side, and then a Simi would just pick it up and transfer it over.
Okay.
Take it over,
so
pass it off to them, come back.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of had Gaia the scroll. Has Gaia worked with scrolls before in the game? I don't remember now.
I think so. Gaia used a scroll on the to
She
repair
bought
the
a
ending.
she bought a bunch of scrolls that were her prayer scrolls.
You're muted,
muted.
Onslow.
Heck! I've worked with scrolls before, but I don't make scrolls. Calder is a cartographer to an extent and has worked with the creation of, but I can work with scrolls. I have at least like 12 of them in my pack. I just used one to fix the rug thinking that would fly us out of here, but nope, was wrong.
Is Calder cartography or navigation? I think I have cartography actually.
I'm navigation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I lied to both of you.
You liar.
But we could maybe, while they're trying to figure out the door, we could investigate the scroll, see if it's a language any of us speaks.
Okay. The scroll, as you take a look, it does not unravel.
It's a prop.
Oh.
It's a mimic.
Oh god!
Okay, swapping over. So we, Andromache and Calder, you receive the weight, the scale weight, and you. I'm assuming you insert both of them. You insert it into both of the holes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So you insert and you turn, and immediately unlocks. You do it with the other, and it immediately unlocks.
Thank you, Asimi. That was really great bit of induction, and you're welcome, gang. It's fine.
As you open the doors, as you open the doors to the tomb, this green light, it's not ugly and it's not harmful looking really, it's just a green hued light spills into the second trap chamber, and you look and you see a brazier that is completely lit, and it is illuminating the entire room.
Is it that green sickly glow in there, like the Foundry shows? Like, is that what we see, or is it like just like a regular flame?
It's green.
Okay. You know, I never liked that kind of green. The green you find in a crypt on top of a mountain, very spooky. As I'm like peeking like through the trap room, like,
I was gonna say.
I thought your god, like you were like oath bound to protect everything green or something like that.
No, it's specifically alive, but the color green is related to aliving, which is misleading in this scenario.
Many people describe flames as having a life of their own.
Do they?
We're in a crypt, Asimi.
Calder,
How poetic is it?
in a crypt. Calder, go ahead and actually, I don't know if Andromache. Well, go ahead anyway. Calder and Andromache, go ahead and roll a
Initiative.
her history check.
Are you trying to suggest that the flame is an undead flame? Gaia.
Sorry, a history check?
My
Dirty
History.
20.
Dirty
Oh,
20.
My history is very bad.
Hey, you never know.
Oh,
That's really okay. So you look at the brazier, and there's things that the fire that's has not gone out, and it is a color green, and it looks a little mystical. You have heard of these before. This is both Kelder and Andromache. You guys come to the same conclusion that this is an ever burning brazier or ever burning fire. And the reason why it is a greenish hue is that it is magically created, and this just so happens to be the color that it has attained. So it's not harmful. It just forever
Okay.
burns, no matter how long it has been in a room or in a place with no oxygen. It just forever burns.
So
So,
like that.
is it just like this brazier, the what I'm assuming are support columns, and this very large
Yes.
sarcophagus in here, or
Yes, that's exactly what you see. You see a beautiful black marble pillars that are supporting the actual tomb itself. And you see a beautiful black, very ornate sarcophagus in the middle that have stairs leading to the top. It is unopened, and it is very quiet and very dusty in this tomb.
and,
are there any
and
plaques or anything?
Any what?
Plaques.
Plaques. There. If you step in, and you're looking around, you see maybe what could possibly be a plaque, but it's closer to the sarcophagus.
Okay.
yeah, Calder might call back to the others. Well, nothing's attacked, and there's definitely a closed sarcophagus in here, so I think we're on the right spot.
I mean,
But it's
Ted-
good.
poke the sarcophagus with your sword.
Can you guys step in so I can catch up?
Yeah, Calder will take a step in towards the
Yeah,
brazier.
yeah.
Wait,
Well,
wait.
we'll make room for our homeboys to join.
Right on. Now that you have stepped in, you suddenly hear these whispers break the silence, and solemn voices from ages past, condoling the deeds of the man interred here. So you hear like layer upon layer of heroic Dragonlord, master of good, just all these words of endearment, of valor, just overlapping each other. It's not overwhelming you in your mind or anything like that, or in your head. But you just hear that this is definitely probably the tomb of Xandar, regardless of a plaque or not. But you couldn't hear them when you were outside, but now that you are inside, you hear all these whispers that speak of the deeds of the man here. Both you and Calder.
Okay.
You know, you guys, Mythos, what if that lever we pulled disarmed this trap?
Well, we have a way to test it.
We could
Can
go
we
get
all
that
go
cor-
through
that-
before
the
we
corpse.
trap
We
the
could
room?
go get the corpse of that Minotaur.
Okay.
It's a very heavy
A
minotaur.
second trip. See, I didn't want to do a second trip.
Oh, I love it.
Or we don't. I just feel bad leaving you out here. Because I'm going
As
inside.
Gaia makes it
Bye.
across, like, you should test it.
I'm gonna go inside. Bye.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I don't have 300 pounds of gear. I have
Yeah.
10 pounds of gear. Plus my armor. Well, no, I have. Well, yeah, I have that Revenger armor.
Doesn't Gaia have the Revenger armor?
I think I'm
Technically.
holding it, but I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
holding it.
I can always come back.
Regardless. I just feel bad leaving Mythos back there.
So Asimi, it seems like you walked into the room, or Gaia, if you walked
Yeah.
into the room, you would also hear the whispers. Again, they're not too loud. They are kind of like in the background, white noise at this point as you get used to it.
I think with Asimi catching up, I'll make the comment like, I'm gonna go wait in the hallway with Mythos. You guys just let me know what happens. She'll just step out of the room, and she'll come back here.
Yeah, as you do that, Calder and Gaia, you can definitely hear that in some of the deeds that there are what you and your people, in quote, your race would call more so atrocities, where like, you know, the falling of of like a platoon or whatever, a tribe of warring sirens or centaurs or other natives to Thylea, what would be considered like, oh yeah, this is normal stuff, they're protecting their land, but this is like, to the settlers, it was a heroic deed that benefited them.
Yeah, not about this.
Okay. So what are you doing, Mythos? Are you going inside? What are you doing?
I mean, I think you should test
Yeah.
it. I mean, worst case scenario, you just step back in here.
There are the
worst case
portcullises.
scenario, I get killed. Yeah.
But it seems like when the trap triggers, gates slam and block both of the doors.
Mm.
We've got a perfectly good Minotaur corpse, like 100 feet away. Well, a bit more than 100 feet away, maybe. I don't know.
I just keep seeing Isimi has my rock
I do. It's right here.
in my inventory. Yeah, I don't know. I say we could drag the Minotaur back, but well, I'll be honest, it'll be you. I can't do that. I can help, but it won't
This
do
is
much.
really strong.
Yeah.
I think I can jump it.
I think you could jump it.
Not quite, but get really close.
I would honestly pay good money to see you jump this. It's a good feat of strength.
Damn, didn't realize Gaia was bloodthirsty.
Look, it's been a long day. I'm not thinking straight. Brain's half on. I just don't want to. I don't know. I went in there and it was talking about the praise of the slaughter of my people and my kind. I mean, like, yeah, like I get it. This is what they had to do and all that stuff. But it's like, oof, you know, like, man, the genocide of the sirens, like, good
Well,
times.
what did the sirens do?
Live here.
Was that all they did?
I mean, that was what my people did. They didn't do anything wrong. They defended their homelands. Now, albeit we live pretty cohesively for the most part, you know, give or take a few outliers, but it wasn't a pretty thing. It's our history and we live with it. It's 500 years ago, you know, it's kind of water under the bridge, but the way it's being referred to in that room is very heavy to hear, being on the receiving end of that, you know. History is written by the victors, and we definitely didn't win, so.
Well, I mean, all the Dragonlords are in tombs like this, so this is what winning gets you.
Eternal monument to
kinda
glorification of your deeds, as opposed to the slaughtering of hundreds of thousands of my kind with no memorial whatsoever?
Well, I mean, monument is something you can go and see, not hidden away in the depths of a mountain somewhere nobody can get to appreciate anyway.
That's true. That's true. I think that's a nice way of looking at it, knowing that, you know, their nobleness is hidden on top of a mountain, and people don't like to come up here. Hubris of man.
Yeah. No, Mythos will stay out here with Gaia.
Okay. So then I'm assuming you call that out, that you're waiting out in the hallway.
Yeah, we'll hang out here.
Okay.
Let the grave robbers rob.
Yeah, nothing
We'll just talk
happens. The
philosophy.
trap remains inactive, inert so far.
That It looks very heavy.
Since we did step closer, can we take a look at that plaque?
Oh yeah. It says in Common, the Tomb of Xandar. It also says in another language that you kind of recognize as Draconic. You do not know what it says. You do see in Sylvan, it is written also. Elvish, written in Elvish. It also reads Tomb of Xandar. It seems to have like a bunch of languages that were common acceptable in a sense 500 years ago, so that's what you see.
Well, do we want to just open it, or
It feels so wrong opening it. What were we here for again?
the breastplate?
Breastplate, right. I suppose there's nothing else for it.
Andromache, do you want to give me a hand, and we'll see if we can slide this off?
Sure, I will do my best.
I mean, I could try to help too.
Yeah, might as well. More hands the lighter.
I'll get on here on Andromache's side.
Right. So I think in this sense you would be rolling with advantage, Calder. We're assisting you.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it a check to open this? I assume because it's
Yes.
stone and oh boy.
Big and heavy.
But with advantage. I mean, you rolled pretty well. I mean, a 16 here and a 20 there. Yeah.
Is this strength or athletics?
This is strength.
All right.
Pushing something.
18.
Nice.
Hold on, let me just double check.
So I'm saying, Sammy's definitely like that helper that's like okay, all right, this Andromache like try to hold it a little bit further back. Like he's the shitty kind.
Lift with your legs, not with your back.
No, like he's not like he's like he is trying to help, but he doesn't know how to.
It's just not helpful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You do not successfully open the top of the sarcophagus, but you can feel it giving. You feel like you might need a little bit more help.
Okay.
I mean, 18 didn't open it. I'm probably gonna have to roll like a natural 17.
Maybe we could try to use. Does anybody have like a crowbar or something? Man, that doesn't sound right at all. Taking to this with a crowbar. Yeah.
Nope. I've got some smith tools back with Gaia. That's about it.
I've got a disguise kit. Is there a crowbar and a disguise kit?
I mean, I could maybe find a steed, a big enough creature to try.
Where's that ox?
It's
Yeah, where's
weird.
that elk?
It's
Yeah,
weird. A
that's
full-sized
right.
elephant just appeared in the tomb.
I do have this rock, you guys.
Amazing.
Would that help anyhow?
What's going on in there?
It's fucking heavy.
You know, Mythos would be really nice right now, but
Does seem like a Mythos job, but we can't risk it, can we?
No, Mythos and Gaia are in the hallway talking about their feelings.
Yeah.
Unless we have a tool or something, Calder will probably just try to keep trying because he
Can
doesn't
you do
really
that thing where you get big and stronger?
It would give me advantage, which I'm getting from you guys helping.
Oh,
Yeah, but
rip.
then we could help too
Well,
independently.
Yeah, then Alex and I could help each other.
Actually, it does increase my push-pull carry capacity because I become a large
Ooh.
creature.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think I am actually going to use a thing of Giant Smite just to see if that helps.
Okay, so what does that do? You have advantage on strength.
Big money, what? No, Amy.
And because I'm becoming a large creature, my carry capacity, push, pull, drag, doubles.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, roll away and then double it. So
Oh.
40?
Oh no, that I rolled a strength save. That's supposed to just be
That-
a check, so it would be
okay.
16.
32.
So 32. I was gonna say 16 definitely does not do it. So 32, you easily this
Oh,
time push the the top of the sarcophagus and it moves. Inside for the first time in 500 years since it was closed, light hits the skeletal remains of a long bygone hero, a warrior hero of 500 years ago, Xandar, the leader of the Dragonlords, the first of the Dragonlords, his almighty Dragonlord. He is He wears upon himself a gorgeous breastplate. It is of polished bronze armor, and you can see that there are grand designs etched onto its surface. Marring the front is a massive dent in the middle of the chest. I would say you would know this, but I maybe actually go ahead and roll a history check as you look upon this very shiny piece of armor.
Sure.
Can I get in on that?
Yeah.
Oh, that hovered on a 20 for so long on my screen.
Yeah, that works.
Hey, 30-20.
You know that this blow to the chest was from Sidon, that he struck the final blow that took down the leader of the Dragonlords, and this is the mark that, so far in the last over 500 years, has left the dent in his chest into in the breastplate. But you see that this is definitely the breastplate of Mithras. And as you guys kind of take a moment to take all this in and exchanging this information, Calder and Asimi, since you guys are there, I'm assuming looking in, you see the sockets of the skeletal head, just eyes open, and rising ghostly from his laying position, a ghostly figure of himself, of Xandar.
So is the first thing Ghost Xander sees an almost 12-foot tall tree giant just looming over his sarcophagus?
Yeah.
Sure. He doesn't seem to make a motion as he rises, and when he rises, he's not sitting up. He just kind of, his entire body, from what you see, just kind of rises and kind of does the whole vampire Dracula thing where it kind of just zoop, and kind of hovers above the sarcophagus, and he looks at you and bows his head. He says nothing, but he does give a dip of his head, and it's not his you can't tell. He doesn't have, of course, facial expressions. He's not a lich. He's not even like a ghost. It's like a skeletal poltergeistish. I forgot the actual name of it. But yeah, that's what you witness as he arises, I guess. But what he does do after he bows his head, are you guys doing anything, or are you kind of just stepping back?
I think after that initial shock of him reanimating, Calder would have taken a step back, but then probably, as he opens his mouth to say something, drop the giant's might form and just be like, "Are you?" How do I ask this without sounding offensive? Are you, cognizant? Or do you know what's happening?
Are you real?
Simi's yeah, kind of the same way, just like kind of like half ready the knight spear, in case it like this was a trap of some sort, kind of
Yeah.
probably, but just standing there now, kind of like wary to let
Okay.
Calder take the lead.
You ask this question. He does not say anything, but he very pointedly looks at you, gives a slight nod, looks over to Asimi, and nothing threatening. He just gives a slight nod, looks over at Andromache, gives a slight nod, and then what he does is he sort of like ducks back down into his sarcophagus, and pulls out the armor. And when I say pull out, like it's physical. The armor is armor. It is bronze. It is relatively like medium weight. And as he pulls it off, as it gets into his hands, it turns into the same type of substance or lack of substance that he is. But then he holds it out to the nearest person, which would be Calder. It would be you. He holds it out. He holds the breastplate out to you.
Yeah, Calder would probably still really confused at what's happening, but kind of reach forward for the armor and see what happens.
Okay. So you reach forward, your hands are kind of where like the armholes would be, and as he lets go, the armor immediately turns into actual bronze back once again into physical form, and you get it, and you're like, whoa, my goodness, okay, as it is given to you. He then nods back at you, nods at Andromache, Asimi, and with a creepy, skeletally hand, he holds the top of the sarcophagi, and as he lays back down into the sarcophagi, he pulls the top closed, completely flush once again, to the actual length and width, and does not reappear.
Well, that
ain't sus.
I'm not going to lie, not what I was expecting when we
I-
opened the sarcophagus.
I expected a speech from some spectral being, not that. That was too easy almost. I suppose we gotta defeat the Minotaur, but
You have within your inventory, Calder, you have the breastplate of Mitras.
And is it safe to assume that this is also something that is going to need to be repaired, or?
It is definitely in better shape than, of course, what you had found, which the axe and the shield. There is just that indent within the chest. You're not entirely sure if without identification or detect magic, you're not sure if the breastplate is magical or not.
Right, that's something he'll check out when they're not still right outside the coffin that they got the armor from.
Okay.
so I think we meander out and
I
show
think
these spoils.
Simi is kind of like quiet through this, and we can say maybe as we're all getting back together, it can be there. Simi just kind of starts like a low, like hollow chuckle that kind of grows into a laugh, and, like continues to like bubble out. Like this, just like unhumored humor, kind of echoes in the walls and stuff. Probably has to stop and like catch himself on the wall. Just like,
Yeah, very creepy.
Well, wonderful, you guys. We've got a breastplate, and axe and shield of heroes that weren't strong enough to defeat the Titans. And look, a breastplate of a dead god who got herself killed. Defiance of it. I certainly feel more confident about our chances. And they're in such great repair, too. He just kind of scowls.
Well, perhaps they were the right tools made for the wrong people.
Maybe, Andromeda, maybe. Let's get out of here. Get some fresh air. Only thing worse than a forest is Crips.
Okay.
Shoots a grin at that. Alright, Mythos, lead the way.
I like to
course.
imagine as you guys
Um,
like come out, like Guy and Mythos are like laughing, and she's like pushing, like, "Oh, that's such a great joke." Honestly, this has been a good last few minutes. This has been very uplifting and very lighthearted. I appreciated that. That was nice.
Indeed. I feel better now than I have in months.
Oh, you guys are back. Oh, breastplate in hand. How did it go?
You know, it was an experience. I'm pretty sure Xander's spirit gave it to us.
You know what? You had to have been there.
Right. Alright, well, lead the way?
No, it did seem to recognize us.
Of course. And
He
Mythos will
nodded
probably
at
get
us
them
as
lost.
if he knew us. It was
No.
peculiar.
Maybe, though. I'm not the navigator.
I think you. I like to think Mythos like takes a. It's like, oh wait, it's a dead end. Like a complete dead end. Oh, it wasn't this way.
Okay. All right. So you guys are exiting, and you guys make your way to the tomb entrance. You're out of the cold maze labyrinth.
We returned the shit. We're not taking the shit with us. The weights and scroll and
Oh.
stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So that's not. I don't have it in your inventory anyway. What was I saying?
Seemed we would
I
make
remember.
sure.
Sure.
I mean, they would make really cool souvenirs, though. Just to remember our journey here. The scroll, and it seems kind of important.
It seems
Okay.
literally useless.
Well, that's rude.
Well, you guys
It's like a
didn't check.
puzzle.
I don't think you guys
But-
checked to see if it was consecrated. So, and if you did, I don't think I said that anything was. So, whatever.
Timmy's
see-
not taking any chances.
Sure.
He's spooked. He's spooked about grave robbers.
No, I gotcha.
Well, when we get a moment, I can examine the breastplate, see if it might need to be repaired as well, or if it's good as is. But didn't feel right to do it right in front of the tomb.
What all armor does everybody wear, by the way?
It's like
Currently, a
counting
breastplate.
Yeah,
I
so
think
using
we're
a breastplate too.
studded leather.
I'll check out for high decks, yeah. Okay.
Leather armor.
Also light, okay. So it's between the two of us, Calder. I'll figure it out though. And nobody really uses the axes, right?
I mean, Mythos, but his axe
Yeah, but
might
not-
object if he tries to use a different one.
Yeah. Right. I had that like super highlighted. Mythos doesn't want the axe of Xander? Question mark. Star.
I mean, it's old.
Okay.
A little voice goes into your head, and ugly.
Right?
So archaic.
Like it was crafted by an amateur.
The folly of others.
Not like you.
Of course not.
You're perfect.
Precious, even.
That is my middle name.
It
Okay.
would be.
So sorry. What are you guys doing? Are you taking a short break here, or what? What are your steps?
I fully leave. Yeah, get back out in the fresh air, even though it's cold.
Yeah, and then if we want to stop for 10 minutes, I can try identifying it. Otherwise, we can figure out if we we're heading back immediately, or
Yeah, what time of day is it?
I'm trying to remember since the calendar doesn't quite work anymore. It is daytime.
It's the middle of the night.
No, it's still
Oh,
actually you did go through the maze, and that did take a couple of hours. So I would say that it is getting closer to nighttime, which means that it is definitely getting colder outside.
Is there any like
sundown.
non-tomb shelters around that we could?
Well, there was
You know,
the tomb.
take-
There was the tomb that Kira went into, which was like Belmitria's tomb.
Okay, see, here's the problem. It still had the word tomb in it. Tombs are spooky.
Calder can make the dome wherever.
Oh, right. I forgot we had that. Dope. Yeah. Maybe we just like plant that somewhere. I don't know where. Oh god, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Thank God.
Okay. Yeah, so
that.
you guys get outside. It is getting to that, like, twilight-ish, not twilight, sorry, sunset color in the sky. So it is definitely like long shadows, cooled down significantly. So this is definitely like shiver weather.
Shiver weather. Yeah, Gaia will like wrap her wings around her, like kind of like a makeshift jacket, while also like holding her. My kind are not meant for this kind of weather. We're more of a tropical bird. Lighter feathers, low body temperature,
So
cold-blooded.
How many lions do you see in the mountains? Nicholas's teeth are clacking. He's got his cloak pulled around him. It's not insulating fur.
Okay.
I can set up the dome, but do you think that Damon would take offense to us just making a makeshift camp in the middle of the grounds?
So
We
if
could
I'm
ask.
looking on the map right here, it looks like there's kind of a camp spot, like in these columns. Is that like an old brazier? We could just throw a fire going in there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's runes. So you passed by it. You saw there was an altar. There was runes, old brazier, and yeah, it's ruined.
Maybe set up around
It's
that.
ruined or ruined?
Ruined.
Ruined?
Ruined. In
With an
disrepair.
And maybe we set up around that, set the dome up around that, and light a fire inside. Just make it, I know you have the heater, but nothing beats like a nice fire.
Sit around with the fire, yeah.
Yeah, we could
Set
do
out
that.
the fire.
I'll just move you guys.
Sure.
I'm assuming you guys are going here.
So what would happen if you put your dome over the fire?
It doesn't stop smoke from leaving.
Are you sure? Have you tested this theory?
Not in person, but in theory, it shouldn't do anything.
You should find out.
That's an interesting point. If we ever encounter somebody using something like this, we could try to smoke them out, right? Or does it prevent entry but not exit?
I am double checking
That
this.
science hasn't been invented yet.
Oh, don't use such words like science. We don't believe in that
What's-
here.
What is that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ to the old woods. Stop making up words to see that.
You said it first.
That's very funny.
So, yeah, Calder will spend the 10 minutes getting the dome set up. He might say something like, if you want to see if Kira's still up there.
Nope.
He says mostly directed towards Gaia because he knows Asimi's standpoint. If she's still up in the temple or not.
Ooh, which temple?
Or, sorry, not temple. The tomb of Belmitria.
Oh, which one's that?
Dragon. The big one.
It's this one
Wait,
over here to
this
your
one?
right. Left.
Okay,
Well,
alright.
to screen
My-
left.
Oh, I was there wrong.
Oh, okay. Gotta be like, yep, be right back. Oh, I'm colliding with something.
Right, I think you went the
Go
wrong
down
way.
the stairs. Go down the stairs to.
That's
What?
down the stairs.
Screen left.
The big squared one.
I'll move you.
Wait. Oh, this way? Down this way?
I'll move you. Yeah.
This way?
Right.
Okay.
You know what? I'm good to go with her.
Okay.
I want to see
What?
I want to see the tomb of the dragon.
Oh, okay.
First,
Well, I want to see the Tomb of the Dragon too.
All right, let's all go see the tomb of the dragon.
I love
Well-
dragons.
Well, be back
Dragons
in
are
10
my
minutes
favorite.
or you'll be locked out of the dome.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll keep you company.
Gaia, Calder says we have 10 minutes. Otherwise, you're locked out.
No, that's true for you kiddos, but not for Mama Bird.
No, I think it's part of the potency of the spell casting.
All right.
We'll test
So-
that theory.
So Gaia, whoever is going in front of this tomb, it is a massive tomb. I think I said this before, but just in case, it's a massive tomb that dwarfs all others in the necropolis. The pristine white walled mausoleum is supported by immense serpentine pillars, and as you draw closer, you realize the pillars are actually statues that have been carved in the shape of dragons.
Wow.
All right. Do you open the
Okay.
doors?
Yeah, I will open the door.
Go for it. All right.
Both doors.
Hello.
You
Guess who's here, Kira?
you enter in, and immediately you feel the warm heat from the braziers that have looked to be, relatively recently lit. Perhaps you're not entirely sure, but it's really pleasant inside. And you see, unlike, let me just go ahead right here as you guys take a look. You see that unlike most of the art in the necropolis, the mosaics that line the walls and ceilings here are pristine, almost new in appearance. The panel closest to the entrance depicts 5 majestic dragons, 1 silver and 4 bronze, soaring through the heavens. A formidable human warrior is mounted on each dragon. The next mosaic is dominated by the verdant coast of Thylea. While the bronze dragons remain aloft, the silver dragon is shown making landfall on this new continent. Her rider greets a haggard-looking group of humans on the shore. Subsequent mosaics show human civilization on the continent blossoming from tiny towns to great walled cities under the leadership of the Dragonlords. So it shows you interpret it as it shows the arrival of the first dragons and the Dragonlords, and greeting the first Thylean people, and then the growth of
Oh, look.
that.
Very cool. Can I find sirens in the mural? Are they depicted at all?
You well, this is mostly the not so much fighting and more so of exploration, discovery, growth. This doesn't, like Balmitra herself, this particular tomb is less of the glory of the battle of the Dragonlords and more from like the dragon in her standpoint.
Okay.
Mm.
I think looking over this, Simi will kind of just comment. Now, I know there's a lot of us, you, Gaia, and Dramaki, and Calder, who, for very good reasons, keep the hopes of the natives high in our party, but it's important to remember that by every account, the natives were quite the oppressors before the dragons came.
You guys see, first off, you see Kira. She looks over and she's like, "So how did it go?" In a very jovial type of, playful voice, as she starts chattering away, and then you guys continue to look on. But what you do notice definitely that is in the room towards the back part is a huge marble block that rests in the mausoleum. This is enormous. It is 15 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 5 feet high. And you can guess that no matter what you possibly could try to do, nothing will move this block whatsoever. And this is the final resting place of the body, the bones of Belmetria, the silver dragon.
Well, I thought it went really well. We killed a minotaur, found a mimic with some bones, and then I think we got everything we needed, right, guys?
What are you doing here, Kira?
She claps and says, "Wonderful!" Completely ignoring you, Asimi, as she continues to chatter with Gaia of like, so Graxus is defeated, and all just like how you just like curious of what was in the tomb. Very pleasant, very just like very curious though. Not in a bad way. She's just curious.
Sure.
I
Yeah, I'll just go into detail of what I can recall as Gaia the person, not
Sure.
Onslow the player, because I missed that session.
No problem. There was she at the very end though. She says, "Did you like my little joke?" She looks over at you, Gaia, and she kind of like whispers into your ear. She's like, "I was kind of spying just a little bit, from what I could from up here. How was Jorge?"
Oh, you were him,
Oh,
like the whole kit and caboodle.
sort of. Just a little bit. Just a little joke. There's
Well,
lots of
I
skeletons down there.
I thought it was very funny. It was mildly. I'm glad it was you, because it'd be kind of sad if it wasn't. I felt bad about it.
Oh no, he was a real person. I was just using his corpse.
Oh, good. That's great. I'm glad to hear. You. I think I'm gonna defer back to Asimi here. What are you doing here, though? What's going on in this crypt?
Oh, well, like I said, when I first arrived and you guys were going to go in, there was no need for me to go in with you. So I decided that I was going to come here and just speak my thanks and prayers and recognition. This is the Balmitra.
The one and only.
Exactly.
DM question. I'd probably need to roll for this, but is Balmitra in any way connected to like worshipping Thylea at all? I can't
yeah.
remember the dragon relation at all off the top of my head.
You can go ahead and roll since not something you really study, but it would be a relatively low roll. Even when you were, excuse me, in towns and such, you have some knowledge of this.
Sure. What am I rolling? History?
Yeah, history, excuse me.
Am I good at this? I think I'm good at this.
Good at this. Oh, shit.
I'm alright. I'm okay at this.
Yeah.
0.
Oh yeah, this is like Thylea's mom, right?
Gaia.
No, I don't think so.
Gaia.
No?
Gaia, that was a joke, right? Gaia, that was a joke.
Obviously.
Okay.
Dragons can't be God's moms, duh. We all know
They were
that.
cousins.
Yeah, there's no relation. So, yeah, give us a tour. What's happening here? What have you found?
She kind of looks at you just a little stunned. She's like, "Oh," and she kind of goes. She goes on to.
You see a very flustered bird.
Ha ha. Yeah, that was ha ha. That was funny.
Explain the significance of Balmetria, of her connection with the first Dragonlord, the connection with helping establish what is basically Mithras, along with the goddess Mithras herself. As you know, she is the Silver Queen. She is the most benevolent of the 5 gods, and the patron goddess of the most important kingdom of Thylea, which is Mitras.
Yep.
She kind of goes into this whole like history a little bit, very in some instances very detailed, in others a little bit more vague, but she kind of just catches you up in like as quickly as she can, but with as much detail as she can offer in the short amount of time.
Sorry. We're on a bit of a time limit, Kira. Maybe like we have 10 minutes before we have to be back. Dad says if we're not back, we have to sleep outside.
Why not just stay here?
Because
Is that
you're
allowed?
here. No, it's not. It's not allowed.
You don't have to be here, Asimi. You can leave at any time. Not a loss. But you are welcome, of course. It is a public place, as long as you are not going to go about not being respectful. That I will not stand for.
I mean,
She's a benevolent person. Well, not really a person. She's a dragon. And she very kind. And to house the heroes of Thylea, and not only heroes, but people that are in need of a place of shelter.
I think, as
Sure,
the
should be
saying
fine.
goes, let sleeping dragons lie.
where are you going to be staying tonight, Kira? Are you staying up here, or are you heading down the mountain?
I'll stay here with you guys. You guys are fun. Make me laugh.
Sure, I have no objection. I'm sure Simi does, but, we cancel each other out, so I feel like we're on the opposite end of the spectrum, so it's up to
It's
the other
just
three to
the
make
spell only encompasses there's 5 creatures. Therefore, it's just it's not meant to be. Kira, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If it's not too personal.
What is it?
When Mitros and Balmetria were standing against the twins, sacrificing their lives for the good of Thylea, where were you?
Kira, make an insight check.
Sure.
Insight? Perception? What would be face recognition?
Probably
I'd say
insight.
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 Okay, 17.
17.
She doesn't have her face kind of just stays relatively the same. There's just maybe a little bit of like a tightness on the sides of her mouth. And she goes, well, like all the other gods, I was assisting as best as I can to my powers to make sure that others were not downtrodden, did not feel that they have lost hope, brought news, brought faith, brought song, brought poem, brought entertainment, brought happiness, in a sense, you could say, to those that in very other hard times would have perhaps fallen into a depression or unhappiness, unease, lost faith, lost the purpose of why they're doing something. Just sharing the love.
I think that's a pretty good answer.
It's a very
So
fancy
essentially,
way to say
being the 5.
hiding, I think.
Hiding, I walk among them. I'm no stranger. People see me all the time. I'm not walled up in some beautiful castle like my sister or in a drunken stupor like my brother. I actually, talk to people. Inspire those that want certain learnings that maybe they are not able to do where they are. Just plant the seed.
I'm just curious how you intend to make the next 500 years better than the last 500, pose.
Like I said, I'm not locked behind I don't lock myself behind the castle walls or a drunken stupor like my brother. or just making armor like my father.
We're not talking about your family. We're talking about you.
And I'm saying
Well, I am. I'm just
it
curious.
is the same. To my powers and what they do and how I use them would be for the inspiration, for the moving of the spirit, in a sense, within those that can also then spread that to others. Hope, faith, however you deem it. It may not be fancy as clacking swords together or brawling and fighting and damages. Not quite something that I would say I am equipped with too much. Mine is more of the soul and the mind and the spirit. A little bit on that sort. Is that wrong for you? Do you prefer the must hit, bang, bang, wine, women, anybody in between, and meat?
The weight of Xander's tome has me thinking a lot about the necessity and capability of success. And I'm just wondering. I don't know. It seems like you and your family still are treating this largely like some sort of game. Some sort of just adventure. And I'm just wondering what, if we are to follow in the footsteps of Xander and the Dragonlords, what we're going to have to change to make a better future.
She looks you square.
It doesn't seem like any of you, except for Mitros, was willing to change, was willing to sacrifice anything.
She looks at you square and gives you, she doesn't really give you, kind of rubbing off on that 17 still. She just kind of just gives you a very unguarded. Her eyes are very, when you look at them now, they're less playful with a mask of, mirth. It's very sharp, not sharp. It's how to say, it's like sharp and soft and very old at the same time as she looks deep within you. It's one of those staring into your soul type of looks. And she opens her mouth once again and speaks. And it's less lofty and joyous, I suppose. It's very somber. And she continues to say, there are some things that I wish I could do, and some things that I wish that I had the ability to take back that I am not able to because of time and my, again, abilities that are betrothed upon me. There are things that I wish that I could tell you and lead you to and show you that I am not able to because of certain oaths that were taken and certain things that we are bound to, that we had promised and that we are honoring in as respectful a manner as we are able to, that does not infringe upon, that does not demine what the oaths had spoken of. If I had the power, which I do, which is amazing, but if I had the ability and the power to destroy an oath and do what I must in order for the sake of all, and I mean all, she looks between Mythos, Asimi, Gaia, and she's kind of saying, everybody. She's not saying settlers or Thailand or natives. She's saying all. I would do what I can so that we can all live in harmony. And I am hoping with my abilities to stir the soul, which touches everybody, that I can bring them a little bit closer. Just because you see me here and there in the cities does not mean I'm not also in everywhere else. My touch is subtle, not pointed.
So Asimi, I think through all that, just kind of watching Kira with kind of like dull and like leadened eyes, like dead eyes, and I guess with her, there's that emptiness that's in him now, that void, that what was sacrificed, the flare, the Kira in him that that is no longer there, the performer. He's kind of well. I wanted to see the tomb. I guess I saw it.
See me. I have a question.
What is it, guy?
Where do you get off? You've been nagging and riding down on Kira the entire time we've been together. And it seems so unwarranted, so out of nowhere. She's been nothing but helpful. You say they are acting like it's playing games. They're on an entirely different level of existence than we are. They are literally gods. Their perspective of life is different than ours. And they have been helpful. I'll admit, some of them not that great compared to others. And we've never met, we never met Mitros. We don't know what she was like, and clearly that she made a sacrifice. And I've got to believe that they're making sacrifices living with us mortals. And I mean, we're objectively trying, with their help, to not have this prophesized doom come about. Them literally interacting with us on a regular basis, here are the most, trying to help guide us, or at least keep us on the right path. Seems like active engagement to try to be that healthy success in the future once the Titans are gone. Is that not what you're looking for?
At the beginning, she wasn't very helpful.
Because you kept shooing her off.
Well, she's admitted to us that it was an act and etc. etc. Then it sort of morphs from there into almost a running joke. But
can't we say you did the same thing? Isn't that hypocritical of you?
Of course. Never claimed to be entirely honest. Have I? But I don't know. The weight of the tomb around us, the Dragonlords look to them for advice, and look where it's gotten them. Killed by the twins, with a piece that was finite the moment it existed.
There's something different about 500 years ago and right now.
I think it is.
Oh, God.
You ain't here.
Oh, right, I'm not here. I forgot.
I
was so ready to jump in. I'm not here.
I mean, did you come in like halfway and no one noticed?
No, I'm with
I was gonna say
I would not have come in.
It's that.
I think we've far bypassed that 10 minutes, though. I think it's not unheard of for Calderon and Andromache to be
outside Calderon and Andromache are in this nice heated dome. It's like they're probably arguing with Kira, aren't they?
Nice.
But no, I mean, I think you're right. I think they do operate on an entirely different plane of existence, and yeah.
I mean, in the nicest
still
way possible,
plane, though.
You worked with one of them for quite some time, as you've told us. So you know that they work in different ways than we do, whether you can see it or not.
The twins and the gods are very different things.
True, but they are on that celestial divine level that we are not. And I'd like to imagine that living in their head has got to be way more chaotic than ours.
I think that we need to step outside of our comfort zones and what we are used to doing and the tactics we're used to employing if we want to win. Those tactics barely worked by the thinnest of margins before. And
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the Oath of Peace is a flawed creation that has seen
I agree entirely.
Right, and that was by the slimmest of margins was even that secured from utter defeat. And that took the death of a goddess to attain. Probably the one goddess who is willing to die to obtain it. We don't have a Mitros to sacrifice ourselves for this next victory, do we? Not
No,
with Kira's
we
attitude, not
we
with...
do not have another Mitros to sacrifice. But our objective is not an oath of peace.
I know, it's something grander.
Yes, and we're working towards achieving that. I think we are looking outside of our norms and our comforts.
I think we are. Yes.
Are the gods not bound by this oath to literally not do what you're saying to do?
And if they're bound by an oath that continues to constrict them so much, maybe they should leave it to us, is what I think. It's not a popular opinion, and it's not the opinion of this group. I understand that, but it's my opinion.
I would like all the help I can get. Dealing with literal celestial beings that wiped out my entire civilization 500 years ago.
I would like not to rely on something that is doomed to fail. And that's what I'm worried.
That is a bold statement, friend.
It's not that bold. It barely didn't fail before. I don't know. That's what I'm saying, Kira. And kind of look past Gaia to Kira. I just hope that mortal life, it took me a long time to understand it, but walking among them and doing terrible things taught me that I think the greatest capacity for people, for us, is that we're willing to sacrifice everything. And I don't get the same from the gods. I think that's our edge over the twins. But I think it's a liability if we come to rely too much.
And that is a fault that may lie with us, though at the same time, what you may not see does not mean that we do not do.
Well, that's cold comfort.
I think at the end of the day, Simi, we're trying to do the same thing.
I know we are.
I think that past issues have, I don't want to say clouded your views, but have withheld you from being willing to receive or ask for help in this type of way. And you can definitely rely on us. And I can rely on the help of others for the sake of us. I'm not asking you to be buddy chummy with Kira, but I'm asking you to acknowledge that she's trying to help and to not dismiss that.
To answer your earlier question, usually I try to get somewhere private, somewhere away from the group.
Okay.
Like, I don't do it in the dome, if that's what you were worried about.
Wait, what?
The getting off thing.
Oh,
Sorry.
son of...
I was about to say, you don't fart in front of people? Okay.
There's the Simi I know.
I'm gonna go check on Caldera and Andromeda, make sure that they don't think Kira, I don't know, ripped off her mask. Oh god, it was the Hydra the whole time. No, I do appreciate the help. I mean, I don't appreciate the help, honestly, but I appreciate that you all are inspired by the help. That's enough for me. But I don't know. I don't know that inspiration will be enough. I think that there's a gap in the Pantheon. A hole, a sun-sized hole, well, dawn-sized at least, that will need to be filled, and I don't know, maybe Mythos will fill it. He's strong as fuck.
Mythos doesn't say anything. You don't. Yeah, he's hard to read at that moment.
I guess Simi's obviously like joking about that, right?
Yeah.
This guy. But
Yeah.
Out of-
No,
I do
Mythos
like
has
you
been
guys.
quiet
I do
this
like you
whole
guys.
time, listening.
Thank
Kind
you,
of pretending to look at the murals, but listening to you guys.
Mm.
I think Gassimi will like start walking out, but like pause and like kind of, it's an enclosed place. I imagine even like a quiet whisper is carries, and appreciate you speaking up, Gaia.
I would imagine that when you're walking out to say this, we're kind of like shoulder to shoulder. I'm facing in, you're facing out. I'm gonna throw an arm up on your shoulder, or like a hand on your shoulder. I'm gonna say, "You see me? I love you. And my love for you and everyone in this group will get us through all of the trying times we have ahead. So if there's one thing you can count on, is that I will keep you safe, and I will not let the troubles of our histories repeat." I'll kind of like pat him twice. Mama Bird's got you. She'll let him go.
I want to believe that, Gaia.
Out of curiosity, how long were they gone?
Oh,
This was
easy
darn near
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like
So-
yeah.
I
would say,
imagine
like 45, because like.
So I
they get
imagine in
there.
this time Calder has identified the armor, so I know what's in
Okay.
the item description.
Sure.
Like I'm to imagine that Simi like steps outside, kind of like like checks the sun, like wait, shit. Call that, we're coming, we're alive.
I think Mythos gonna hang behind. You guys might, as you're leaving, you might hear him go, "Did you bring anything to drink, Kira?" And he'll settle down to like chat the night away with Kira.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaia wasn't gonna leave either.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, Kira opens up her own. She actually, first off, she looks over at you, Gaia, and she's like, that looks familiar. I did that as a practical joke. I am so sorry. And then she opens up her own satchel and just takes out a Christmas dinner. Christmas dinner. So
For sure.
You have cups, you have wine, you have a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables. Still warm? ? Goddess, who knows? And everything is extremely fresh. The bread is perfectly crispy, like it just came out of the oven. It's still warm. There is butter. There's soup. There is meats for Mythos. She produces meats for Mythos, and fish, and it's just a smorgasbord.
How did you know?
It took a wild guess.
Would there be enough for the other 3 people if they were here?
Oh, well, I had set up like the fires and everything like that. I assumed maybe that maybe perhaps you would come in here and you would stay the night, and of course I would take care of you guys to my best of the abilities. But because I didn't, chop off my hand and give it to a Simi or something like that and sacrifice it, I guess it's not good enough. But yes, there's enough for everybody.
Let's do this then. Gaia will reach into her fanny pack and pull out like some parchment and a writing device. She'll write a little note saying it'll say dinner in Bomichia's ...
Sure.
Crypt ? Here's a sample platter, and I'll pull out like my cooking utensils to kind of like have like some kind of tray, and I'll set up like a little makeshift like appetizer tray of all the stuff. I'll kind of whisk my hand around a little bit, and Jared the elk will just kind of like whoop whoop, like hop into being. Like I'll put it on his back and I'll throw a blanket over it. Like go to the hut. I'll like pat him on the butt. We'll just kind of trolley off.
I need to have Jared on here. I'm so glad that Jared exists. There he is.
This is his kind of
Big-
climate too.
Big boy.
Yes. Big boy. He's
Like you better cuddle up with that elk at night. Keep you warm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So Asimi, Andromache, and Calder, you see coming up the stairs, this just first you see a platter of food in like held in something. You're not entirely sure. And then as Jared the elk comes up, you see there's a platter of food with a note hanging in his antlers, and he goes, moose noises that sound like and he bends
Did that Elka just say moose noises?
I
That
really
was
wish he
weird.
just spoke like a Pokemon. Elk.
No, this
Moose.
yeah, it just walks up and goes moose noises.
Yeah.
Moose noises.
Yeah, I like
and-
that.
Jared.
Like that's all it ever
Jared.
says in different inflections.
Jared.
Yeah, when he's
It's a
scared,
guy's
it's like
voice.
moose noises.
Okay, guys, I was gonna say moo, and I'm like, that's not what they say. So he bends his head down, and you read the note: dinner in Belmetria's ... crypt. I think that's what you said. And
Yeah.
the platter has a bunch of fruits, cheeses, and meats that have significantly cooled down and have a little sprinkling of snow. And Jared goes, moose noises.
Well, if there's presumably hot food, Calder says, like, picking up something that's dusted with more snow than the other pieces on the platter.
I threw a blanket over it to protect her from the weather.
Yeah, we might as well go up there. I need to recast the dome to let anyone else in anyways.
I suppose.
You had me at moose noises.
Simi will gather himself a plate.
Okay.
I'll take my chances out here.
Okay. All right. So Calder and Andromache, you go into the mausoleum, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just move you over.
Why did that have a hella Blues Clues? We just gotta let her vibe.
Blues
Ed.
Clues.
I'll just move you over. I did
grow up in the 90s, y'all, because I'm older than you guys. Okay. Also, Blues Clues is the best.
Blues Clues was tits.
Exactly. Why is my right click not working anymore? Okay, here we go. All right. So you guys arrive. You see Kira, and it's first when you walk in and you see the murals and the description. Again, noticing that this is more of the land of Thylea, the arrival of the Dragonlords, less of the fighting and more of the development of the civilizations. What else? Yeah, that's that. And it's very warm. It's comfortably warm, and it's clean. There's food. There's Kira. She's playing the lyre, whatever. She goes on telling jokes and little stories and stuff like that. You guys ask her questions. She answers them, and it's like from having a very almost traumatic experience inside of a tomb to a jovial experience inside of a mausoleum tomb. It's a little different, a little
sus.
interesting. Sus is just like awkward. Though as the night winds down, Kira does take something off of this what's it called? Like altar. She takes a scroll case and she goes ahead and hands it over to, well, she doesn't hand it over. She kind of just like, for those of you who are a little bit more interested in the Dragonlords and the history of and all that fun stuff, this is a volume 2. I don't know where the first or the second one is, but it can give you a little bit more insight. If you have any other questions on your travels, you can refer back to it. Only if you want. And she puts it back down. This is not consecrated.
Well,
This is consecrated. And she points behind her to the marble tomb. But this is not. These are... I just put these here. But this one was here for a very long time.
Guy will reach and take the scroll as Calder speaks up.
Yeah, Calder was just going to say, it couldn't hurt to know more about the history, those that came before us.
I think it'd be great to know. what we were fighting for, and she kind of looked at Mythos. What not to do next time.
Yes. Don't play games with the twins. They absolutely adore and love. I don't remember what it's called. But if you ever find yourself needing to play or not to play, be very wary. They cheat. As I
That sounds
assume they
right.
cheat. It does. Okay, let me go ahead and give you permission since you had taken it, or everyone took it. Okay, it is called Modern History Volume 2, The Dragonlords. It is in the History, Legends, and Lore folder in Journals.
What?
Random aside, because at some point after eating, Calder would bring up what the breastplate can do. Did he get a sense of if it needed to be repaired or not?
It is definitely in a funky state where it does need repair to get its full abilities back. You feel that because of the way it's the state it is right now, if you were to try and use it, maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't on certain occasions. You're not sure.
Gotcha. But yeah, at some point after dinner, Calder would kind of gesture towards the armor that he was probably carrying with him and just kind of set off to the side somewhere.
Okay.
And just be like, so the armor isn't in nearly as bad a condition as the axe and the shield, but probably still needs to have someone like Vulcan take a look at it. Though I could actually tell what most of the enchantments on it were this time. It's a very good breastplate. Seems to make the wielder more charismatic, and giants and titans have disadvantage attacking the wearer of it.
That is very true. It has saved its, and she gets a little bit more solemn when she says it. It has definitely saved Xandar quite a few times, but in the end, against a titan who was very strong, and the fates were in his favor at this point. At that point, it was not able to protect him fully from that lethal blow. I also assume that you found the shield and the axe.
We did, though they weren't in good condition. The Graxis had them, and well, whatever he was doing with them, they didn't hold up quite as well.
Ugh, Craxus, he just that's a story for another day. Well, I can't tell you about the axe. The axe is actually sentinel, and it is it doesn't necessarily talk to you. You more feel it in your head, and it gives you feelings and warnings and just kind of alertness. It is a very interesting weapon, very beneficial. So when you repair it, it'll be a great asset, that's for sure. It does also have, it can hear and has a vision, in a sense. It's, like I said, it's a sentient weapon. It's very interesting. Of 120 feet. And like I said, it communicates more telepathically than anything else. Its main purpose is to destroy giants and titans. So if you ever come across, which you most definitely will, if you were to strike one, it would be so happy. If you were to take down one, it would be ecstatic.
Oh. That's
it's
kind of gross.
You know, sometimes there, like I said, I do the more subtle, spiritual, and light of heart. Some of my other blessed family members are a little bit more fight for glory, if you may see. Nothing wrong with that. You know, everyone has their different sides. It's just, I prefer less fight. Anyway, but a little bit more, the happiness it feels upon, I suppose, taking down one of the giants or titans, it does give you back a little bit of health. It sort of heals back up your wounds a bit if you were to take one down. And this right here, and she looks a little bit more favorably upon the shield. I'm just going to make sure I have it here. She's like, this one here is interesting. It can, if you are not familiar, if you do not know, it does have the ability to cast a very a particular magic that calls upon the thunder, and it sort of undulates out, and it can harm your enemies. It's very useful to keep away hordes, or eliminate hordes. You can do it only a limited undulate. Yes, you can do it a couple of times. I believe 3 times per day. It also is accompanied by a very mighty roar. Us gods, we are a little whimsical. She looks over at Mythos and she's like, the roar of a lion is very mighty indeed. It will strike fear into others and braveheart your fellow comrades. So very useful. See, you see this headpiece, the mouth right here. If you go ahead and if you put in another creature that has other certain abilities, like let's say a Medusa, you can use those powers against another being, and just for a little bit before it will disintegrate into dust, its power is used, and then you have to wait another day in order to do something similar. It's definitely for protection, that's for sure. And as a little bonus, a couple little bonuses, you will, for some reason, start reading Draconic. I don't know why my father decided to put that in there, but I guess maybe he was feeling whimsical when he created it. I'm not sure. So there's that, and you have better. You are able to better look around your sort of surroundings and see things that maybe you would not have seen before. Just a little bit better.
Can it help you see in the dark?
Unfortunately, no, but that would be kind of cool. She opens her book and she's like, I'll tell my father of something to see in the dark. I'm sure he has. I think, knowing him, he probably already has something, but, that's still marketing. Be pretty useful. All right, and then
Love it.
She says.
Well, we're probably going to need to stop by the Mithril Mines and talk with your father anyway if we need these weapons and armor repaired, so...
That's true. He will need to use Pithor's hammer in order to fix these items. Pithor's hammer is it's the hammer that created these items. I forgot about that. Yeah. I'll tell him in advance. Have the fires warmed up.
Go Pops.
Go Pops? Go Pops! Go Pops. I get it. Yes, go Pops! And her eyes, you've seen this once before, Gaia. They cloud over, and she is she's silent for a few moments, and then a few moments longer, and you get it, and everyone, as you guys are kind of looking at her like a little awkward, like, maybe she's having a full-on conversation. You're not entirely sure. I am looking at the time. It is 10:09. Let's go ahead and pause here. Did we want to say anything real quick in the last minute before we go on break?
No?
Anybody gonna check on a see me at night?
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
Gaio is going to come check on him.
We'll come back. All right, then let's go ahead and take a 10 and come back at I guess 10:20, which is 11:20 Eastern time, and 8:20 something time. Okay, BRB. We're back. Yeah, and we are back. Fantastic. Checking. Okay, cool. Sound works. We are perfect. I didn't pause the game. Typical me. Yeah, so just a little bit of recap. You guys came back, talked with Kira, had a very serious conversation, and then now you guys are having a feast and just discussing about the armor and the weapons that you found, the armaments of the Dragonlords that you were set to reclaim and you have claimed. Kira right now is currently in some type of like translate state. She's been like that for about 10 minutes. And that's where we guys are. As you guys are finishing eating, wondering how Asimi's doing. Oh, let me put Odyssey here.
Yeah, Gaia would after the meal, and I don't know, maybe about like 30-ish minutes probably. She'll go check on him. 30 from like sitting down, talking, eating, and everything, and then going. So like no more than 30-minute break from Asimi saying he's gonna hang back to right now. So she'll go check on him.
He's not where the group left. Well, 30 minutes now. He's still there. Point. He's got like a little ass campfire that he can only maintain thanks to magic. Probably, given it's cold. He's eating. 30 minutes pass by.
Okay. Were you doing anything aside from eating? You were like walking around. Is that what were you doing?
No, I don't think he'd be walking. He'd be kind of huddled next to the fire because it's fucking cold.
Okay.
But I think he's very much deep in thought. It wouldn't notice Guy's approach. He's got his panpipes that he used to use in casting his spells. He used to always hang around his neck. He's just kind of like, has it in his hand, just kind of like turning it over and stuff, thinking about it. Maybe once he notices Guy approach, he's like, oh,
you'd hear the clopping of hooves and the moosing of noises as Guy kind of trots up on Jared. Like, hey, what you got?
Those delicious meals. Thank you for sending some out.
Yeah. I was looking to just check up on you. It's been a little bit. Not saying that you needed to cool off, but I'm sure you are cool now. Do you want to come in and actually be warm as opposed to this tiny little fire?
This tiny little fire is incredibly warming. It's like his breath, like mist and stuff. It's very warm. Very warm.
You see Gaia roll a fake dice. Bullshit. Look, I'm not going to make you come inside, but I do want you to be close by so I can keep an eye on you. So can we at least move the fire closer, and I'll kind of pull that blanket that covered the food up, and I'll hand it to him. I don't want to make you be in a situation where you're feeling discomfort, so.
Gaia, when I know you trust Kira, and I know you have plenty of reasons to, but sufficiency on things that we truly understand is important to me. I
can respect that.
When it's not as if the followers of Lutheria feel like they're evil. They think they're doing the right things too.
Yeah.
So how do we know that by putting our faith so boundlessly with her that we're not making a mistake too?
That's a very fair point.
And so when we allow our weaknesses to be overcome not by our own merit, not by our own camaraderie and strength, but by a substitution conjured out of nowhere for a creature that is willing to do anything but what we're willing to do.
I think that is a very narrow-minded viewpoint. I'm not saying the way that what you just explained is not a valid thought process. It is. If we were to rely solely on Kira, I think we would all die. But we're not. There is so much more at play here that we need to as well put our faith into. We're not putting our faith into Kira that she's going to be the one that guides us or solves this problem. She's just helping. At the end of the day, the way that the Oath of Peace is worded, from my understanding, they can't directly do anything. So we have to rely solely on the five of us, five of us, to get the job done. And any outside help, to me, is welcomed in this task, because it is daunting as fuck. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose someone at my side, I would choose you over her. And I don't want to take that away from us. But at the same time, I'm a young 42-year-old siren with I don't know how much long left in my life.
42 years old?
42 years old.
You look it.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I mean, we lived to 300. It's a compliment. I'll take it. It's just, it's so much
I'm in my 300.
to ask of us to do this. And it's not even ask. We were kind of demanded. Didn't really have a choice in this scenario. We didn't pick this life. The gods forsaken us into this role. And if I would have it my way, I'd go home. I'd go visit Senna. I'd go see my parents, my dad's. I'd go visit my mother's grave. And I would live my...
interrupt you?
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. Would you really?
Oh, yes.
Knowing that you have the capacity, that the possibility for saving the world from disaster might be in your future. Would you still go home?
I can't say that I wouldn't be tempted to answer the call, but at the same time, this wasn't an option given to us. If I had the option of doing it, it might be different because it was my choice. But this wasn't a choice for me.
No. So, if Versi tomorrow showed up, offered 1,000 apologies, said, no, my mistake. The prophecy, just kidding. That'd be it. You'd go home, seeing what we've seen, done what we've done.
Guy's gonna get this massive, like, smug look on her face. I don't think it's wise putting all your blind faith into one person when I don't know what their motives are. Whatever pish posh you just said. So I would stay.
You know the difference, yes?
Yeah, no, I know the difference. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay.
Would I leave in that scenario? I don't know. Do I want to be doing this? No. This isn't easy. It's not fun. I don't enjoy this. I enjoy you all. I enjoy being with you, but I'm riddled with anxiety and nervousness that literally, on a total of 10 shoulders, unless you count one set of shoulders as 5 shoulders.
I was going to say 12 because of Janet here. And I mean, Ornithea kind of has. And then there's the little, what's the little mayonnaise shit?
I don't even know what that reference is. It's a lot to take on. It is such a daunting task, and I can understand why someone would be hesitant. But you were with Versi for upwards of, I don't know, 6-7 days. Like you know her prophecies are. She's renowned for them.
Did you just say I was with Versi for 6 or 7 days?
At least.
I mean, I hate you, but you're not wrong. But I hate you for phrasing it like that.
I don't know the time. You're very seclusive about these things.
Around about 3 centuries.
Well, there you go. So you have faith that her visions are right?
No, she doesn't have much faith in that often. She actually had many prophecies that... it's complicated. I trust in her intentions. That's what I trust. And that's more important to me. Also, I left kicking and screaming. It was not a good. She's like, you need to go get toughened up, and I went literally the other way. for like 3 years.
Well,
It was more like 5 years. It was 6 years. Stop pestering me about it.
well, I trust the intention of the 5. I'm a woman of faith. I've been believing in a goddess that like you literally can't see for my entire existence in the woods. But these are tangible people that I can interact with. I mean, I have interacted with Thylee, and it's different, but having the ability to put trust and faith into that which you want to believe to be true is a powerful tool. Not everyone has it, and that's okay. Not everyone needs it. I'm just asking you put your faith in us.
It's been there.
If it's there, then come back in that fucking building and be with us.
No, I have absolute faith that when I am captured by the agents of Lutheria, you all will be able to rescue me. You know, you said something different. You said it's not fun for you. Maybe that's where we're different. These past few days, every time I've been in a fight, I wish those skeletons had blood in them, so I could rip it out.
Interesting thought process. A lot to unpack there for sure. Do you
Sammy
enjoy
just
this?
kind of starts laughing.
Do you enjoy the slaughtering of others?
No. Let's go inside.
She'll pat the butt of Jared to see if he wants to hop up.
God, no. What? Get me away from that thing. It has fleas, probably.
No, it just has moose noises.
Moose noises.
That's incredibly unsettling. I need to ask Gaia if this is something in her studies. If this... Not Gaia. You're Gaia. Andromache. I know, you know, he's an abomination. He's a cutie abomination. He's such a cutie abomination.
I like to think we can hear Simi protesting the elk from the temple.
Yeah, as we're like walking up, like, no, I won't get on Jared. Like
Jared is clean, Asimi. It's fine.
I mean, your standards of clean, incredibly different.
While Gaia is out checking on Asimi, probably close to when they're getting ready to come back. If Kira is still kind of in that trance state at that moment, Calder might reach into his pack, and I think it was actually Asimi who got him a lyre back in Astoria, and he might try just playing that. It's been a hot minute since he's done anything, so I'm not expecting great results here, but
okay.
You might hear the sound of Calder trying to start plucking at a tune on the lyre, probably having to tune it, but...
Performance check?
Was it Asimi's? Did Asimi give you his lyre? Or did he
no, you made a point of going out and buying a separate one.
Sure.
So, because of the fire rune, I had double my proficiency with any tool I'm proficient in, and I am proficient with the lyre. So instead of -1, I'm making this at a +5.
Nice.
Go.
Okay.
We take those?
Yes, we do. Hey! That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's for sure. So Gaia and Asimi, are you returning to the mausoleum?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just drag you in. Yeah, as you guys come up of moose noises, Jared is just kind of waiting outside. He does fit inside, but he doesn't at the same time. So yeah, he kind of just hangs outside and starts clopping around looking for grass, and there's no grass, and he kind of looks at you guys
I'll put him away. Like I'll pull him into the pocket dimension via find steed, whatever it is. Find steed.
Sure. Moose noises thank you, basically. You kind of get that's what he said.
I'll pet him a little bit, and you see him just kind of like he'll like dissolve into like this light, this like sunlight, and like get caught in the wind and swept out the door.
Okay. Gaia.
Do you think he feels that? I'll look at the group. Do you think he feels that?
He absolutely does.
All right.
I speak Moose. He was discussing the agony in his parting moment.
So bad. Okay, real quick. You guys enter. You guys come up and you enter and you hear a lyre going and it sounds really good. And you see that it's Frosty Boy Calder that is playing this beautiful lyre. Sounds great. You see back here, Kira is. This is actually so. Asimi, I don't think you've seen this before, but so you see Kira. Her eyes are clouded over.
Thank fucking God.
Her eyes are clouded over. But Gaia, as you get closer and you come in, as you kind of bridge the distance between the door and Kira. Kira's head turns to you, and in a different accent, completely different accent, you hear, Gaia.
Yeah. Yes?
Nope. Get her out of here. Get her out of here. I tried. That's spooky.
And in a different voice, almost a different voice. It's still Kira, but her, the accent is not hers. It's her tone, but everything about how she's talking is not the same voice, but it's someone you are very familiar with in your past. And she's like, Gaia, it's me.
Who is me? So who am I recognizing here?
You're recognizing Cena.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let me prepare for this. Okay, all right. All right, so I step in, the voice comes through. I'll look over to Kira and just be like, I'm sorry, who is this? And then, she'll follow up with it's me. And you guys will see Gaia full sprint, tackle hug Kira to the ground. And latch on and kind of roll around a little bit and making all of these exasperated noises of happiness and cries of joy and just a lot of noises coming from her, but no audible words. She's just holding Kira's frame of a body, oh my God, thank you so much, man. I have so much to tell you, and just goes on this whole just a bunch of bullshit that makes no fucking sense. But unless interrupted, she just won't stop because she's so excited.
Through her voice, again, the one thing that you after your exuberation, you feel that there is no physical response back, and you hear, I don't have that much control over the body. I don't have any control over the body. I am just speaking through Kira, with permission, of course, but I intercepted a little bit. She was trying to reach out to her father Vulcan, and I am in meditation. Anyway, I sort of just asked her if it's okay if I could say hi and just let you know that I miss you so much, and I've heard so many different stories. Oh, so much. It has been going through Mitros like wildfire, you and your deeds, and it's amazing. And everybody else, excuse me, I cannot see. I'm just the voice. But I only have maybe a 30 seconds. I don't know. But I just wanted to say hi, and I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see you soon.
Gaia's response is just be I love you, I miss you too so much, and she start smooching Kira all over the forehead and the cheeks and just holding her very lovingly. And I'd imagine that during this Kira kind of the connection breaks and Kira comes to with me just kissing her forehead a bunch of times over and over again oh shit, I missed my timing. Oh
Kira, you feel life get back into the body instead of it just being a limp form. And Kira just
is bruise in the back of the head.
She's like, wow.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I cannot say I'm not happy, though I do not believe those kisses were for me. Okay. How did I get down here? And she kind of
I'm still on top of you, I'm sorry, I'll help her up. I'm so sorry. She said she had consent. Did she? I feel like she didn't.
Oh, no, she did.
Okay, all right.
You don't quite take over somebody's body, especially a goddess.
I don't know. You talked her up pretty good when we first talked about her, so anything's possible.
Well,
Nothing against you, but more so about her.
Oh no, I understand. I very and that you don't meet any regular human ? With this person that can do that. This is the first, and this is the first time we've actually tried it. It was quite interesting. I sort of had this like really hazy. I wasn't quite. I don't know. It was very private. I don't know what the conversation was. I suppose it was public since everybody's here and you heard everything. But I don't know exactly what she said. But it seemed to have gone well.
She was just checking in, saying hi. She misses me, and I miss her. And she heard all the tales of what we've done and everything, and she's proud. And like as she's like saying this, like you'll see her like start choking up and like get really sad. Like she misses me, and I miss her, and it's been so long, and I just can't wait to see her again. She like kind of like softly like sob into her hands, like.
Kira
Just...
pats your shoulder and your back and just gives you a hug.
Thank you. She'll like hug back, like I appreciate you letting me do that. It was the best gift anyone could ever give me.
Well, of course. And if we cross paths again, which this is again the first time this has ever happened, and she wants to say hello, then and we're in a spot that allows it, it's fine. But I do believe it is late, and there are many things I'm sure you need to get on with doing tomorrow, I suppose.
Yeah, I could use some rest. She'll like look to the group like, big day for me today. A lot happened.
Indeed.
And again,
Are
this is...
Are we sleeping in the hut outside, or can we stay in here?
Akira, again, she goes back into her ruckus bag, and she's like, oh, I got this, okay. And she pulls out these, like, really fluffy futons.
Oh.
Like, super, like, they are stuffed, and they are the perfect length for each of you in terms of width and height. And each come with blankets and a pillow, and she provides, well, if you'd like to sleep on the cold ground, at least take this, or if you'd like to sleep here, then that's fine too.
Well, it wouldn't be... Calder is very magical. It wouldn't be entirely cold ground. Fine.
I mean, whatever the group wants, I'm down for indoors or outdoors.
Feels a bit disrespectful to sleep in somebody's grave.
I'm actually not in a disagreement here, honestly.
I mean, that's my point. I don't know.
Oh, I think it should be quite... I don't know. I guess that's just me. I think I'd be quite lonely if no one came to visit.
Nobody will. I mean,
Whoa.
what?
Yeesh. I don't know. What does the group want to do? Mythos, Calder, Andromache?
I'm fine with putting the dome to the test too, just to see,
It does feel a bit strange, the prospect of setting up for the night in a crypt.
That's what I said. That.
Even if the owner might have been okay with it, it just doesn't sit right.
Okay, let's set up outside. Can we get the fire going and yeah. I'm fine with that.
You guys, I haven't learned this new trick. I can light the fire.
Perfect.
I'm serious.
Right, well, leave that to you, and I'll get the dome back up. And
I do need like wood and stuff, Like if we could maybe chip in on the fuel for the fire, but
Sure. Kira, do you by chance have firewood in that bag?
1 second. She goes in and puts her hand in, thinks about, and whoop.
if you don't have firewood, maybe like
I do.
your personal heart. Or
A what?
I do. And she starts like thinking of firewood, and she pulls out in a total 15 logs. And she's like, I don't know why I have this. You know what? This is why checking women's bags are very dangerous. You just don't know what's in there.
Life pro tip. In
is
and out of Philea.
this specific reason, like instance, like it feels like this isn't incredibly dangerous.
Would you like to try? And she holds the bag out to you, Asimi.
Yes, I would.
Okay. She holds the bag out. What do you think about?
Nothing. Just reaching in. Just a bag. There's nothing dangerous in there.
Yep.
Mm.
The team comes back out. Oh, look what I found!
Wow. A classic.
But he laughs. He's
She finds it funny too. She's like, huh? I'm assuming you gave the bird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't see because the camera's off. She laughs. She's like, that among other things. Okay. So you guys, I assume you said you guys are going over to, over here?
Just out
the
right now.
water?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
yeah, back there.
Yeah.
Is that everybody? Everyone's going, or is anyone staying behind? Yeah. Okay.
We'll have the group go. Unless, don't let me speak for the group. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will go. Gaia will tag along.
All right. So you go under the watchful eye of, with no enemies. Graxus is gone and is now dead. Under the watchful eye of Damon as well as Kira, nothing happens throughout the night. And you guys wake up refreshed. You wake up warm and comfortable, and your dome is covered in snow.
To light the fire, by the way, Asimi like arranges the logs like all nice and neat, and then just stabs the night spear down into it. Casts prestidigitation to light the fire. Like as he pulls the spear out, it just like crackles into like black flame that like turns into orange and like normal natural fire.
Well,
Really
that's
spooky.
cool.
It's a neat little trick. This is the coolest spear ever.
Yeah, I love when the fire makes things darker around you than lights them up. Big fan.
I know, me too. I wasn't kidding about the blood.
I'm sorry, what?
You may need to talk.
Okay. So you guys wake up and you exit. Natural 20. Nice.
I was gonna not when he went fucking with Gaia.
Okay. New day. Gaia, would you like to roll for bird?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a happy bird right there.
That's a happy bird.
There's
Oh,
that. I hope you're happy.
Okay. Long rests, everybody. Make sure you choose your long rests. Pointedly, Asimi, again, this is still within like the week that you've gotten your new powers.
Yeah.
So the second time, you get another dream again with that strange silhouette of and pixelated mosaic person, and you do not hear a voice, but you hear in your mind space in your dream overlapping voices that are kind of they're both male and female. There's not an assigned gender role. It's both. Of that, you are right to do what you must do in order to sustain and survive, and make sure that it also encompasses the betterment of others and the whole. So kind of a bit more reaffirming your thoughts of you wanting and needing to do something to make something better, in a sense. It's that feel in that sense. So kind of getting a counseling, I suppose. So that's what you get when you as you continue on to dream, after that sequence is done. And I'm just going to quickly activate this. You guys are here. As you leave, Damon is not there on the bridge when you guys cross from the side that you are on. But for those of you who look back, Damon is standing there in his usual spot. You guys continue on. You get through the mountain, and about once you get to the bottom of the mountain, you hear above you the flapping of wings and the gentle growling, purring, roarish type of, it's a strange sound that you guys have never heard before, as four, make sure I have it right, as four silver dragons descend in your direction. Each have on top of them a dragon rider. They land from the distant skies. You can make out these forms appearing and approaching you, the sun shimmering off of their scales, and you realize that they are, I'm sorry, I did say silver, I meant to say copper. They are 4 young copper dragons. You have heard and you have seen these dragons flying in the air before, and as they are ridden by a red cloaked knight. You recognize Mythos, Gaia even, and Asimi. You recognize that they are high-ranking centurions from the city of Mithras. The dragons descend and touch down several dozen yards away from you. 4 knights with shields and swords dismount and approach you non-threateningly. There is a determination in their eyes, and that suggests that they have been sent here with a mission. But they clearly, again, mean you no harm. And the leader steps forward and introduces himself, saying, "I am Tarchon. I have come on the behalf of King Atticus." Acatus. I can never pronounce this damn name. Acastus. Right. Thank you. Acastus.
I believe.
Yes. Acastus. Like cactus.
Acastus.
A cactus.
Cast.
I cast this. Acastus.
What was homeboy's name?
Tarchon.
D's?
Tarchon. Yeah, I am Tarchon. We have come on the behalf of King Acastus to escort you to his palace. He wishes an audience with you.
That's a big summons.
There.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
There's a haunted forest we said we'd cleanse on the way back.
They give you a look like, what? Why would you ever want to go in there? All right. And we will end the session, the last session of the year, here, 12/14/2021, saying goodbye and entering into 2022. So December 11th will be the next
January.
January.
A year break.
We're going to take a year break.
Yeah. Going to break. Yes. We're going into 2022, January 2022, same time, in 8 p.m. CST time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we're good there. And then we're also going to start a second chapter with DM Alex, perhaps on the 6th, or sorry, perhaps on the 7th or 14th.
No.
I don't remember.
It's gonna take hopefully by the end of January, probably looking to February, for me to fully prep stuff.
Well, then we are in anticipation of the second part of It's Not Waterdeep Dragon. It's Saltmarsh, the Saltmarsh one. I'll mess that name up.
Heavily modified Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign.
Oh, and it's modified.
Yes, very heavily modified.
All right. Fun stuff. Well, I look forward to hearing the exact date. In the meantime, everybody, please enjoy your holiday. Enjoy all of the fun things, New Year's. Please be safe. I know there's like new mandatories to wear your mask. So, like, hey, get it. Kind of sucks, but, better than the alternative sometimes. So
Wow, politics in my D&D game. I'm sorry.
how dare I? Just want people to be safe. I want you to come back all like healthy and safe. So take care, enjoy, and see you next year.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
That works.
We've got